and I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Lebanon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, terrorism is sadly often associated with my region, which has suffered from heinous terrorist acts throughout the years. It is, for instance, unfortunate to observe that not all terrorist attacks and incidents make the headlines or even the news anymore, as it has become the gloomy reality of some of our peoples. However, this plague spares no other part of the world, and it continues to pose a great threat that aims at creating chaos and that affects the basic human rights and fundamental freedoms of people. Mr. President, as Lebanon reiterates its firm condemnation of terrorism, it rejects any attempt to associate it with a religion, nationality, civilization, or ethnic group. If anything, it should be associated with sheer cruelty. We also reject the attempt to label the right to resist foreign occupation, which is rooted in international law, with terrorism, with the aim of serving a political purpose and distorting the reality. Mr. President, the adoption by consensus of this resolution today stresses the importance of the multidimensional approach in preventing and combating terrorism. Here, I wish to thank ambassadors of Jordan and Finland, as well as their teams, for the tireless efforts and valuable work in co-facilitating this 6th biennial review of the global counterterrorism strategy. My country, at the forefront of the fight against terrorism, remains committed to the implementation of the 4 pillars of the strategy. Our armed forces succeeded in defeating Daesh militarily and disrupting terrorist cells. We have engaged on countering the financing of terrorism and marked notable achievements. Nonetheless, we all know that to eradicate the source of evil, we have to address the deep and structural causes, both internal and external, that create and feed into an environment conducive for such radicalism turning into terrorism. They range from prolonged conflicts, foreign occupation, double standards, to inequality and exclusion. Youth has to be at the front line of these efforts, as they represent our present and our future. Not all individuals facing these situations of injustice and despair will follow the terrorist path, but all of them can be susceptible, to a certain degree, to falling prey to terrorist recruiters. My country spares no effort on the preventive front. In March of this year, we have adopted a national strategy to prevent violent extremism. It is the result of a lengthy and inclusive process of consultations that brought together my government, civil society, relevant UN entities, and other key actors. The plan is in line with relevant international standards such as the UN resolutions, and in particular the Global Counter-Terrorism Strategy. Mr. President, the creation of the Office of Counter-Terrorism is a step forward to better assist member states in implementing the strategy in a more coherent and coordinated manner, notably through enhanced capacity building activities. The signing of the Global Counterterrorism Coordination Compact also represents another positive addition in this regard. Furthermore, Lebanon looks forward to the high-level conference of heads of counterterrorism agencies that will take place in 2 days. We believe it is a very useful step in operationalizing and advancing the key objectives of the strategy. In concluding, Mr. President, we must remember that our ability to uphold the rule of law and the human rights are mainly tested in times of turmoil, in times of great disturbance. Yet, overlooking or compromising on human rights when responding to the terrorist threat can never be an option. I thank you.
I thank the distinguished representative of Lebanon.